Get it, media.
So the big question is, does the media influence us? And in this video, we're looking at cultivation theory. Cultivation theory was developed by George Gerbner, and he and his colleagues looked at how television might influence people. Cultivation theorists argue that television has gradual, long-term effects, but they're small and over time, unlike the hypodermic needle model, which doesn't really give any time period. They also argue that these changes aren't actually changes, they just reinforce the norms. Gerbner argued that the people who watch a lot of television are more likely to be influenced. So basically the theory is like this. First, let's remind ourselves of the hypodermic needle theory. Get an ordinary person with ordinary opinions, they watch or listen to the mass media, and it affects their opinions. In this case, the person really likes oranges, but the mass media suggests you should like apples. So with the help of the mass media, he likes apples instead. That's hypodermic needle theory. However, cultivation theory is slightly different. Gerbner argued that this happens over time and with lots of television viewing, and argued that it only reinforced that person's opinion rather than changing it. So here's our guy again who really likes oranges. And the media are only reinforcing that opinion that oranges are great. He now really likes oranges. Rather than changing his opinion, they've reinforced it. One experiment got a group of college students to watch a lot of television, and another group just to watch a little. The ones that were watching a lot of television, particularly action and adventure programs, were indeed found to be more fearful of life in the everyday world than the ones who were watching less television. This showed that television over time was having a slight effect on those students. Now, cultivation theorists generally looked at violence on television. Other people have looked at other aspects of this effect, thinking whether it applies to gender roles, or age, or ethnicity. Another study of American college students showed that those that watched a lot of soap operas compared to those that didn't were far more likely to overestimate the amount of divorces or abortions. Cultivation theory has been criticised. Many people think it's far too simplistic. It doesn't take into account the person's experience or cultural background. Again, the audience is passive. It might be fair to think that cultivation theory doesn't really happen today, because there's so many different channels and different choices out there, and so many different types of media. The mass media is definitely changing, but consider this. Let's take a person who doesn't really like immigrants. He thinks they're coming into the country and taking all the jobs. He would probably want to read a newspaper that agrees with him and read stories that back up his opinion. And although there might be other newspapers out there that give a wider opinion on the immigration debate, he still wants to read that one paper. He'd prefer to read a paper that backs up his own opinion. This person might then develop a distorted opinion on the issues surrounding immigration. And people do tend to stick with what they know and watch and read media that backs up their own opinions. So that's cultivation theory. The mass media has gradual effects. They can be small. They don't necessarily change opinion, but they can reinforce it. That raises a bigger question. Does the media control us, or do they just give the audience what they want? The next theory in this series is the two-step flow. Click on the link to find out more.